This morning on Today's Relationships, splitting up to save a marriage. With the divorce rate at nearly 50%, there's no doubt that fixing a broken marriage is not easy. But NBC's Peter Alexander has a story of one couple who found an unexpected way to stay together.
It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Boats out.
Yeah.
Mary's leaving.
Janine and Mark Earnhardt are sounding an alarm of sorts. Their story is for anyone with a relationship in trouble. On scenic San Juan Island in Washington State, the Earnhardts' 35-year marriage was basically dead.
You know, I thought he was pompous. I just did not like him at all.
They began as teenage sweethearts in love, building a home, raising a family, traveling together. But over time, Janine and Mark's relationship was on a path to divorce.
It sounds a little strong, but I say it was almost toxic.
To avoid each other, Mark escaped to the golf course. Janine shopped and visited friends.
Mark, you're the one who initiated separation, right?
Yes. I said, you know, this isn't working for either of us. It's time for a break.
Janine kept the house. Mark moved to this condo. The Earnhardts were well aware that for most couples, separation is just a dress rehearsal for divorce. It seems counterintuitive, but could separating actually save a marriage?
Taking a vacation from your marriage can work.
Allison Cohen is a marriage therapist in Los Angeles.
It can re-energize you, and when you have that energy, you can bring it back to the relationship and really make the commitment work.
But would it work for Janine and Mark?
Hey, what's going on?
At first, during their split, they only spoke about selling their home and the logistics of breaking up. Then something happened. They began to communicate for the first time in years.
So we would write each other a letter. We like that because you can actually take the time to say things the way you want to and not speak out in anger or in frustration.
It was just a relief to not be stressed and just mad and angry all the time.
Eventually, this husband and wife began courting each other.
When you showed up at the house with a bottle of wine, you started dating again, right?
Yeah. I was looking at her differently, looking at the positive things.
And it was a great feeling. It was like coming home again.
You can start all over again. While Janine and Mark warned separation can be risky, after 3 months they got back together and say their marriage is now on solid ground. Your love is carved in concrete.
I know forever.
The Earnhardts share their insight in Marriage Works, a self-published guide to a happy marriage that recently got the attention of the Wall Street Journal.
When you look at your wife, what do you see now?
My best friend. You know, I think that's what we have become.
Proving separation can make the heart grow fonder. For today, Peter Alexander, NBC News, Friday Harbor, Washington.
And marriage therapist M. Gary Newman has helped couples through trial separations. He's the author of Connect to Love, the keys to transforming your relationship. Gary, good morning.
Nice to be here.
Let's be honest, this is unorthodox. You've called this trial separation the Hail Mary pass of professional counselors. But can it really work?
It can work, but it's usually done when people are exasperated. There's so much anger that being around each other, they can't see anything but the problems that are going on. So the concept of separating and really using that time to work on yourself is really the key.
And is the theory also that it kind of reinvigorates the relationship, like the couple we saw in the piece, that it adds some excitement, some novelty again to the relationship?
It does. The idea is if you separate and you work on yourself, and again, you really have to confront yourself. And a lot of these situations, someone has really hurt the other person. So you have to consider, what have I done to sabotage my relationship?
And you basically say, don't try this at home without a concrete plan. And the first thing you say is both people need to be in some form of therapy during any trial separation.
Sure. Otherwise, you're just going indefinitely nowhere. Remember, a lot of things happen poorly during a separation. There has to be a plan, and the guide of a counselor or somebody keeping you honest in that relationship is the idea that we're going to work back to each other, and after that break, it is refreshing to reintroduce ourselves, a better me and a better you.
Your second piece of advice seems like a biggie. Yeah. Don't date during this trial separation.
There's nothing, that's going to be terrible. terrible. If you date somebody new or go back to somebody with whom you've cheated, that's pretty much dead. Nothing can compare to something new, especially a relationship that's been fledgling and has been a problem. You have to really keep yourself isolated and say, how am I becoming a better person?
And for this to work, you have to have a designated time period. But how long?
It could be anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, but there's got to be some time period. If you just have some indefinite, we'll separate and see what happens. I know what's going to happen. You're going to get divorced. Have to have some kind of plan moving in that direction.
You know, a lot of folks experience in marriages that time where distance really grows, and it seems sort of counterintuitive to think that a separation could actually bridge that distance. I mean, what's your view? Why do people grow apart as marriage goes on?
Well, believe it or not, life comes at us very fast. We can be so busy with kids and work that we can think we're living together, but we're living parallel lives. People don't take the time to be together the way they need to be.
And we want to leave on a high note. You've got some tips for how people can bring their marriages together without the extraordinary step of a trial separation. You say one thing, you've got to spend more than 30 minutes together, just alone, each day.
My research shows those people are much happier. It's uninterrupted time. Get rid of the BlackBerries and the cell phones. A woman once told me her husband is cheating with fruits, his apple and his BlackBerry.
Oh.
Number 2.
That's a good line, but not a good thing to experience in your marriage.
Number 2, the date night.
Yeah.
I tell people once a week for 2 hours, don't talk about 3 things: money, work, or kids. People say, what are we going to talk about? Talk about what you're reading. Talk about your life. What you saw on today.com. Mix it up. Be creative, not just the same old stress.
All right, Gary Newman, who we should mention is spending his 24th anniversary with us today, so you know whereof you speak. Thank you. Good to see you.